So we have a highly impactful event going on today, starting up here in the upper Great Lakes into Michigan and Detroit area, and transitioning off the East Coast here with potential heavy snow going on. And on the West Coast, we have the last day of heavy rainfall, thankfully for a few days. And mostly we're going to focus on the East Coast storm um, and talk about the different model guidance. And you can see what's going on here. We have a lot of different types of precip falling this morning. So good morning. This is Tim Ealer, meteorologist. I want to welcome you all to my channel. Like the video if you like it and share with your friends. Hope you had a good Christmas. And so let's get on with the forecast here for the impactful event on the East Coast. So what I'm going to do is go through a comparison of some short range models here. This is a NAM, roughly showing about 8 p.m. tonight Eastern time, where the most snow and ice is going to be, right? And we go back a little bit in time here. This is about, let's see, 10 a.m., roughly 9 a.m., about what time it is here. Depicting this pretty well. Ice. A lot of sleet here depicted in this model run. Not a lot of freezing rain really. More sleet in the purple here, and New York City's right on the edge of where you could have some sleet mixing in. Right. We'll have to see how this plays out. Maybe transitioning back to all snow, but it's going to be a close call here. And like Philadelphia, Trenton, most of New Jersey looks to be getting a fair amount of sleet with this, at least with the NAM model. And the NAM, I've been talking to some people about this, and NAM is pretty good about handling warm air aloft in the column here, which could lead to, at least in the lower levels, which could lead to sleet. Which, as maybe people don't know, sleet is refrozen snow, right? So the snow melts partially, and then it refreezes at the surface into little ice balls, right? Freezing rain is right at the lowest levels you have still temperatures below 32 F, which is 0 Celsius. It freezes on contact. So if you have a certain amount of warm air, with I think it's less than 1,000 meters, usually, and it cools back off below freezing, you can refreeze into sleet. So you still have to have a little bit of snow at the center of it for that to happen, right? So thermal profiles here are going to be very important, and the NAM seems to do the best with this. So, okay, so I would anticipate areas of New York, north of New York City, northern New Jersey, staying mostly snow, but there's a sharp cutoff. You see that, right, on the backside. But where the heaviest banding sets up is really in this area here, right along the edge of the sleet shield. You could have some heavy sleet here as well in the parts of New Jersey. All right. Now switching to the HRR, depicts this ongoing pretty well here. HRR is a little bit colder in some areas, but it also depicts a warm nose moving into New York here, northern New Jersey. A mix of snow, ice, snow, freezing rain, and sleet. And wherever the sleet mixes in, and maybe a dry slot working into the northern New Jersey here. Whatever the sleet mixes in, we're going to have less snowfall totals, of course. So there may be an intensification of snowfall rates in New York towards the end of this model run, which is tomorrow morning at 2 a.m. So this is 2 a.m. with this one, and go further out here. Pretty much depicts the same thing, right? With a rapid refresh. as well. So this is the rapid. Was I not showing the NAM before? Yeah, I was. Okay. Sorry. Switched into the rapid refresh. It's really depicting the same scenario here, but like I said, I think there's going to be an outcast event here where this low tracks is very important. All right. And wherever this boundary sets up, and if warm air pushes further to the north here than is expected, we could have a change in P-type, which could limit snowfall totals. So Boston area looks to maybe be on the edge of this, on the snowfall shield, and we could end up overperforming here, right? So let's look at snowfall totals for the different models here. Sorry guys, I'm struggling this morning. This is at 7 p.m. This is the rapid refresh model, showing a bullseye here into north of Poughkeepsie here, reaching potentially 10 inches of snow. Some areas could really overperform depending on where the band's set up. All right. Now we look at ice. Highest ice totals in central PA, in Michigan, the Great Lakes area, parts of southern New Jersey, potentially up to half an inch of ice here. State College, Altoona. So, and this is based on the RAP model. Let's go to the NAM. Pretty much outline the same thing, although not as aggressive with the ice totals here. And the rapid refresh, pretty much the same as the NAM. Let's go to a more recent run. Yeah, rapid refresh, NAM 3K. Interestingly, this is more detailed here. This is Saturday morning, 4 a.m. And it depicts more ice, maybe moving into northern New Jersey here, central Jersey. But overall, the biggest impact for ice is looking to be in central PA, western PA. All right. Yeah. So let's just look at another model here. I don't usually use these, but for comparison's sake, pretty much showing the same thing. The highest ice totals in the western PA, parts of northern New Jersey, with a cutoff here, just to the west of New York. And here are some more snowfall graphics and ice graphics for the upper Midwest and Great Lakes area. Expecting a trace up to 4 inches up in Sault Ste. Marie of snow, Drummond Island on the Canadian border here. Ice not expected to be that high except for the south, of course, with more snow up north here. For northern Indiana, expecting the trace to maybe half-inch of snow here. Michigan City, Gary, Lafayette, Muncie, Fort Wayne, Defiance. And the ice expected to be further to the north here. So not a lot of snow or ice really with this event. For Detroit, Michigan area, expecting less than an inch up into the northern Detroit area. Less than an inch in Flint, Pontiac, nothing here. Ice is going to be a problem today. 1 a.m. today to 7 p.m. today is where the biggest threat for this ice is going to be, up to a quarter inch here. So definitely a pretty impactful ice event. Grand Rapids, Michigan, expecting in general less than an inch of snow for the area, with up to a quarter of an inch of snow in these areas here. We kind of talked about a quarter of an inch of ice, excuse me. This was issued at 4:10, 1 a.m. today to 7 p.m. today. So this is ongoing right now. For Albany, New York, we may have already gone over this, but I wanted to show it to you anyway. Onset, the precip here, expected to be highest. Yeah, snowfall expected to be highest in the southern portions of the forecast area, towards the Hudson Valley, towards Syracuse. Onset, precip outlook here. Um, roughly 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the forecast area for winter precipitation onset, right? Winter precipitation end time. Late tonight through early in the morning on the eastern portion of the forecast area of Albany, New York tonight and tomorrow morning. And the ice forecast, generally on the Syracuse area, not expecting much, but up towards the middle part of the forecast area, Glen Falls, Manchester, Gloversville, maybe towards Watertown, we could get a 1/4 inch of ice here. Down towards Poughkeepsie, just to the west, northwest of Poughkeepsie here as well. This is a product issued from the Bufallo, New York Weather Service area. Mid-afternoon through mid-evening, highest impacts. Snowfall rates may briefly reach 1 to 2 inches per hour. And then snow will begin to change over freezing rain and sleet by late in the morning to early afternoon, which may be already ongoing, taping off by early evening. Freezing rain is favored in the southern tier, and there's high uncertainty still in the accumulations. And if sleet mixes in, of course, the totals will be less. So there's a chance of another storm system moving through the area here. Maybe another ice storm. Brief wintry mix. Sunday into Monday. So Sunday through Sunday night. And here's a percent chance of ice accumulations of 1/100th of an inch of ice or more. And if once it rains, combined with snow melt, can lead to rises of a certain Buffalo area creeks with a low chance for minor flood stage. So, and there's a higher chance for longer lasting wintry mix across portions of the north country, especially Tug Hill and St. Lawrence Valley. And this forecast will be fine-tuned in the coming days. Maybe tomorrow we'll have a better idea about this. Then finally, lake effect snow is looking more likely, and we outline that in the 3 to 7 day hazards outlook. Of course, there's uncertainty with lake effect snowband placement and intensity. Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, strong winds will create significant blowing and drifting of snow in lake effect areas. Strong cold front behind it, lake effect snow, and it has potential to be a long-lasting event, with the intensity and placement of the snow varying with time. So we'll have to keep an eye on this as well. One more graphic from the Buffalo, New York area. There's a lot of uncertainty again with the precip amounts, snow and ice especially. Western and southern tier for amazing freezing rain and sleet. Niagara frontier to western Finger Lakes, mix of snow and sleet, with sleet possibly holding down snow amounts, but still impacting travel, and minor amounts of freezing rain. And then Rochester, Canadian, whatever that is, Ago, eastward, mainly snow, maybe a brief period of heavy snow with snowfall rates possible later this afternoon and this evening. And the Buffalo, New York area has some great graphics here, so I'm going to show this. Onset of precip, snow ongoing for most of the area. Then for Jamestown, wintry mix, and you can see the graphic here. Transitioning to rain, okay? And maybe freezing rain, okay? So you can see for the Medina area, it's supposed to remain mostly snow, but a lot of other areas may transition to either rain, freezing rain, wintry mix at different times, maybe sleet. Okay, so Dunkirk looks to transition to all rain, while most of the rest of the area either be freezing rain, sleet, at different parts of the days here. Watertown is expected to be snow throughout the whole period here. Medina as well. Fulton, with some areas going over to freezing precip from snow, like ice or freezing rain. Wintry mix, with returning to snow maybe at the end of the event. So here's some snowfall and rainfall, not rainfall, and freezing precip expected with this system moving through the mid-Atlantic and the northeast and parts of the eastern U.S. today. Not a lot of snow expected in Cleveland, Ohio area. Maybe a trace all the way up here to the right. You can barely see it here. More like an ice event going on. Potential of over a quarter of an inch of ice, which could be really impactful for travel today and tonight. Especially in the northeast area here of the Cleveland, Ohio National Weather Service reporting area. Now for the Pittsburg, PA area, not a lot of snow expected. Maybe way up to the north, 1/10 of an inch, which isn't very much. So more of a wow, some really high ice accumulation amounts here, almost a half an inch in this narrow quarter here. Punxsutawney, Clarion, oil. Never heard of oil, but hey, what could I say? A little bit further to the east for the State College, PA area, anticipating half an inch to an inch of snow from south to north here. For the north you go, the more snowfall, but overall not a lot of snowfall expected here. Excuse me, cleared my throat. I'm not feeling too great today, so coming down with bronchitis or something. Anyway, you can see to the west here where the highest ice accumulations amounts are. Quite a steep gradient here, so the forecast is going to be very tricky today. Birmingham, New York. This is where the jackpot area is here. From the Birmingham, New York area, you can see the highest amounts expected, especially right in Hudson Valley, all the way up towards Syracuse, potentially 4 to 8 inches, 5 to 8, in Monticello, Poughkeepsie. Sharp gradient here as you go south and to the north here. So wherever the banding sets up is where we're going to have the highest totals today. As far as ice in this area, there's a little more ice expected, but not a lot. To the north of this event and to the south, but mostly snow here in this quarter, but you can see where the highest ice totals will be. Further south, you can see there's a steep gradient here where I grew up near White House Station in Somerville, New Jersey, 2 to 5 inches. You go just a little bit further north, the totals increase significantly. Further south, Philadelphia, it's been kind of warm, so surface temps aren't that cold. So this is one of the reasons I think why you're going to have some melting initially here, even with the snow that does fall. But the higher rates of snowfall will likely overcome that, especially since the event is not going to really kick off till the evening, so won't have any sun angle issues to contend with. Ice possibilities here. This is just another area from the Mount Holly area here, mostly New Jersey, covering New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Up in the Poconos, expecting higher ice amounts. Generally 1/100th of an inch to 1/10 of an inch of ice in different areas. Just ice range amounts. Okay, so you could see nothing, could see a small amount of ice here. A little further south in the Delaware area, trace to maybe half an inch to 2 inches of rain as you snow as you go further north. All right. We talk about ice. We talked about this. Likely not much ice accumulation east of Baltimore. All right, east northeast of Baltimore here. And you go back a little bit chance of snow as the system exits. Right. Go further south in towards the Winchester, Westminster, Baltimore. Like I said, not much snow expected here. Maybe some ice in the higher terrain up here in the Maryland-Pennsylvania border, but overall not a lot expected. All right, maybe higher totals up here in extreme western Maryland and higher terrain. This is from Charleston, West Virginia, showing the same graphic really here. Cumberland area. So this is the current hazards today as of 1350 UTC, which is about an hour ago. Flood watches along the west coast here. Winter storm warnings into the Intermountain West. I'm sorry, the California mountains here, up in the Cascades, Sierra Nevada range, and the Intermountain West here as well. Winter weather advisories, winter storm warning, high wind warning. Then you have some dense fog in the areas to the south where the storm is moving through, and all along the Gulf Coast here. Ice storm warning here into western PA, and along the north of where the storm is going to be moving, you got wind and weather advisories, winter storm warning, and for the northeast of mid-Atlantic, stretching all the way up towards the Boston area, down into parts of West Virginia, Maryland. So there's quite a lot going on today. So the forecast for Georgia, forecasts are running above normal through the weekend, but for the next couple of days, partly cloudy today to mostly sunny to the south. Highs generally from the 60s to the 70s further south. Tonight, way above normal. Lows, highs near 60 in the south here. I mean, in general, pretty pretty even temperatures here throughout the whole state overnight. Tomorrow, even highs in the 70s further north and approaching 80 again for the south here. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies. You can see for temperatures here for the short term how they're going to be above normal. This is a 15-day outlook, right? Lows way above normal, 50s and 60s through Monday. And then the bottom drops out Monday night. Generally highs in the 40s to 50s possible, with lows in the freezing for a couple days through the end of the week. Starts warming up some. Maybe getting close to normal towards the weekend, highs in the 60s. But you see there's a lot of uncertainty further out than this, so we'll see how this goes, but it's trending colder again the further out in January we get, so we'll have to keep an eye on this. So for the New York area, a winter storm warnings are in effect for the tri-state area here. And so with heavy snowfall expected, all right, up to 5 to 9 inches expected today. And this is a graphic from the New York area. I thought I'd share this with you. It will start off with dry, powdery snow, become wetter snow overnight, with the column becoming more saturated, temperatures approaching freezing. There's still some uncertainty where the heaviest bands will set up, which of course will impact the high snowfall totals. And if sleet mixes in, then snow totals could be lower, right? Winter storm warning in the red, pink shaded areas, winter weather advisory in the blue. There's going to be another briefing tonight at 6. And this is a graphic, most likely snowfall. White Plains, 8 inches. New City, 8.6. JFK, 7.25. Newark, 7.25 to 7.5 inches of snow. But you see a sharp cutoff here for the snowfall totals. So, and to the east as well, right? And this could even change between now and when the event starts. Possibly, and this is just a graphic showing the high-end possibilities here. We could get up to 8 to 10 inches of snow in these areas. And this is based on the chance that heavy banding will set up in certain areas, which with this system it's hard to predict, but and I'll talk about that in the model guidance here. You can expect this much snowfall if the snow mixes with sleet or if the low tracks further south, which I don't think that's too likely at this point. And here's the onset time for the tri-state area. Generally, winter precip onset expected starting around 4 to 5 p.m. See different colors here between 4 and 7 p.m. today. Timing of heaviest, most impactful snow 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. New York City, Northeast New Jersey, and the lower Hudson Valley. My brother's flying in today, so he should be able to get out of Newark before the snow starts. His flight's supposed to leave about 1 o'clock, so hopefully that'll be okay. 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. Southern Connecticut and Long Island for the start of the precip. And onset times, of course, may vary. You can't predict this with absolute certainty at this point. As far as excessive rainfall and the severe weather, we talked about this. We got the marginal and slight risk of heavy rainfall again in Southern California into the California mountains. And I'm sorry for getting coffee here, but my throat is I'm really getting sick, but trying to get this video done. So thankfully, like I said, this is the last day for this excessive rainfall here in the west. You see day 2, just tomorrow. Nothing on the books here. Day 3, which is Sunday. Day 4 had nothing. And day 5. So a nice break with excessive rainfall. Now we switch to severe weather. Interestingly enough, we got a chance for severe weather up here all into Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Not severe weather, just general thunderstorms. It's interesting there are looking thunderstorms here. And also along the west coast of the U.S., parts of Nevada, Salt Lake City, into Wyoming here. This threat to the east here is likely outlooked because of the short wave moving through. Maybe some thunder snow in the areas where we have the highest snowfall rates overnight tonight. Tomorrow we have the beginnings of this front pushing to the south. General thunderstorms possible here in the central U.S. Then we have a little bit higher marginal risk here in the central U.S., which looks like they're mostly driven by a wind threat, as this multiple short waves phase, and the surface cyclone develops and moves to the north. All right, so we'll have to watch this as it moves through. And no other severe threats outlined past day 3 for right now. But we'll see with the cold front pushing to the south, with the warm temperatures in the southeast. We'll see how that plays out as we move towards Sunday into Monday here. As far as the day 3 to 7 hazards, this is the 28th through the 1st. We have frost freeze possible down here in along the Gulf Coast, the 30th through the 1st here. High winds expected with a cold front pushing through, but it'll be a pretty strong cold front here. And with that, we're going to have potential for freezing rain, heavy snow along the Great Lakes, heavy snow and high winds up here in the UP. And a little before that, in the lee side of the Rockies, potential for high winds. And into Alaska, hazardous cold, heavy snow, heavy rain further south here. And significant waves in the Aleutian Islands. When we talk about the day 8 to 14 hazardous weather outlook, we've talked about this previous days, the resumption of onshore flow here out west, potential for heavy rain, slight risk right now, the 2nd through the 6th. You see the different areas here. You can see the dates. And along with this, risk of heavy snow again, slight risk. And the dates listed here, the 2nd through the 6th, generally in different areas. And high winds accompany the system, maybe into parts of California along the coast and in the southern part of the U.S. and the central U.S. and maybe Alaska here, the 2nd through the 8th, 2nd through the 4th, and these other areas in the continental U.S. We maintain the slight risk of hazardous cold up here, way up to the northeast, up here in the northeast part of the U.S. All right. Now we go to 6 to 10 day outlook, temperature outlook. Expected to stay below normal in the northern tier of the U.S., near normal for the rest of the eastern and southeastern U.S., and along this boundary here going up into north central United States. And then above normal temps expected further to the south, but below in Alaska and above into Hawaii again. And this is a nice change. We're looking like we're trending towards more precip possible here, and at least near normal precip chances in the eastern U.S. and below normal is central and the desert southwest above the 31st to the 4th, below average to near normal to above average precip chances in parts of Alaska and above in Hawaii. Excuse me, guys. Alaska looks to stay below normal in the period the 2nd through the 8th with temperatures. Hawaii stays above. The northeast hangs on to cold temps. The warmer temps build or forecast to build back into the south, with the near normal temps in the northern tier of the U.S. and along the California coast, Oregon and Washington coast here. And then this is a nice change. Maybe some return of above normal precip chances for a good portion of the nation, except for the eastern U.S. So that's a nice change. Hopefully that'll help with the drought in the south. Below normal to near normal temps, precip, in Alaska, and above normal in Hawaii. Hawaii has just been above normal and with precip and temps for quite a while now. Going 3 to 4 weeks out. This will be updated later today, and we talked about this. I have a feeling it's going to be close to what it is on this, although the eastern U.S. might, and the northeast will probably remain below normal, the northern tier and along the west coast. Alaska looks to stay below normal temperatures and Hawaii above, so rinse and repeat for these areas. That's all I got for today, guys. I hope you all have a great day, and God bless.